We'll see where we end up going.
For sure, RNG bans out the Lucian's area, and once again, this bottom lane pool has been opened up so much. I want to see the Caitlyn. We see it so much in the LCK, and Caitlyn is a pick or ban champion over there, but in the LPL, it just doesn't fancy these teams. But we do have the Elise being locked in for JDG straight away onto Kanavi, so it's going to be an early focused team comp, I assume.
Yeah, his first Elise game of the split as well. I feel like Elise is pretty rapidly climbing in priority in the jungle here in the LPL. We saw it earlier on today as well. Over to the side of RNG though, perhaps deciding that they want to take this Varus away for themselves. Certainly feels like the third priority AD carry in the LPL. Ruler playing that in game number 1. And RNG not wanting to deal with Ruler's Varus once again. They could even go for the Ashe as well, just to really lock down that bottom side.
Yeah, I mean, Varus, like you've been saying, is that next up-and-coming ADC once the OPs have been banned off. Because I just think him being able to switch in between builds, between the poke with the Yomus and of course the on-hit through either, I believe, Immortal Shield Boy or something else, he's very flexible in terms of how he puts out his damage. The Sejuani is going to go towards Wei, so we're not going to be seeing Wei playing anything too carry focused just quite yet. But as you know, Sejuani's have been playing very aggressive and has been winning against Elise in that early game.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing the Sylas once again from Kanavi, like it worked against the Sejuani in the previous game. But it's going to be a Jayce locked in as well as the Ashe. So the bottom lane still a little bit open, but with the flex pick there for JDG, and then locking in one of the solo laners. But again, a flex pick.
The fourth Akali hover we've had tonight. Honestly, Akali has been a 50-50 champion where either you pop off or you just flop. I don't see it going any other way, especially with how Tangyuan really showed us in that first game. I mean, it does work a little bit better because so far JDG's team comp is looking extremely squishy without the Sejuani being in hand this time around. So maybe Angel can bring that aggressiveness into the team comp and threaten the carries of JDG this time.
Sylas take it off the board, and we'll see what Angel can do on this Akali. He's had big moments on the Akali over the years. Certainly a champion that's well within his wheelhouse. But with Sylas gone, I am curious what Knight will choose to go for into that Akali. But only time will tell. Surprised to see a Leona ban, to be honest.
Yeah, Leona being banned in 2023, a bit of a weird thing to experience right now, but I need to highlight that Knight has brought out his Lee Sin mid lane before, and I think Lee Sin is a very good counter to this Akali, so you're having a lot of balls to just blind the Akali up against Knight.
Certainly are, as the Nautilus banned as well. I think JDG basically saying, look, Ming, we think you're an engaged support player. We think that's what you bring to the table, and we're not going to let it happen. The Heimerdinger comes out for Ming in the end. As Ruler hovering on the Jinx, it would certainly bring some presence to the late game team fighting from the side of JDG. And the Jayce still could be that mid laner instead of going up towards the top side with the Renekton hover. But then again, you can play Renekton in the mid lane as well.
Yeah, I mean, it just depends on which matchup is better for the side of JDG. This Renekton could realistically just flex between the Jayce. The Caitlyn, please, I beg. Missing hovered it for 1 second, but back to this Renekton and Jayce solo laners. This Elise is going to have a very fun time. She's going to have a lot of angles to look for those tower dives, especially with a Renekton, where the dives are extremely easy to execute. And the Caitlyn gets locked in for Ruler.
Certainly does, unless it's Caitlyn support. We have seen a tiny bit of Caitlyn support.
Oh, hell nah.
But I would assume that it's going to be Ruler taking that Caitlyn down at the bottom side alongside Missing's Ashe. And now just down to the top lane for the side of RNG. But again, like you said, you don't actually know whether it's that Renekton or the Jayce that you're up against.
Yeah, Ksante just seems like a very stable pick for RNG's composition to round out. You have the engage, you have the front line, and you also have consistent damage from the Varus and Heimerdinger in that bottom lane. But JDG's team comp is very spicy, a lot of damage and a lot of early game priority and threats from this Elise and Renekton, of course, being locked in for the top and jungle. I'm not going to be surprised if Kanavi is just going to be constantly diving Gala in this game, especially with the Caitlyn being locked in this time.
Yeah, it certainly could be an option. Kanavi to try and get underneath that tower and just force massive pressure in the bottom side. We saw a Heimerdinger earlier on today, and it led to a 5v5 of RNG. We know Kanavi is the kind of player that will take over a game. Ming wants to set his turrets up at the bottom side, but JDG don't want to let it happen.
JDG already smells a little donga in that bottom lane, placing down only one tower. It's gonna get taken off though. But this top lane is already having a brawl.
Yeah, 369 and breathe going at it. Not sure if that was gyos we could hear or if that was just general crowd noise, honestly. Little uncoordinated today, but RNG just gonna sit underneath their tower. They know shenanigans could be afoot, although Ming stepping on forwards. I think he was spotted there by missing. Turret comes down to protect himself from the volley. Absolute tech is coming out from Ming.
They spotted the ward and Missing's gonna just sweep that. Does Knight get the Oh no, the Knight got the experience, and that potentially might mean he will grab level 2 first in that solo lane once again. I mean, it was shared in between 3 people, so I'm not too sure just quite yet, but it is a potential.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the mid lane is the lane that we have to talk about, right? Because Angel, obviously, going to be at a bit of a disadvantage to start this lane off. Melee versus ranged, it's never going to be pretty. But also, Angel here trying to prove himself as a big trade in the bottom side. Ruler getting massive damage onto Ming. Ignite to trade it back as Missing and Gala. Kind of 2 separate 1v1s there in the bottom side. But Angel wanting to prove himself, wanting to grab the main part of this roster slot for himself.
Yeah, picking up the Akali once again, our 4th Akali for tonight. But he's already in a very tough matchup. Look at the CS difference just because it's a melee versus range. But I'm looking at the junglers right now. The Elise started her own red buff and the Sejuani same as her. But the trading with balling happening, I just feel like Wei has an angle to gank either bot or he can look in here.
Could look towards the mid lane. Knight changes forms to get that bit of movement speed. And will be fine. Doesn't have to flash or anything like that. Wade just passing towards his bottom side as Angel continues to take a bit of punishment in that mid lane. 369 priority on the top side, but with both junglers in the bottom river, I don't think that's going to matter too much. Kanavi trying to get aggressive onto Wei will force him out of the jungle.
I think we're just going to see a stalemate between Renekton and Ksante. Renekton is a pretty good pick into Ksante. It does shut him down in the early game, but once you get to those team fights, it really just depends on who has the flash first of all. But JDG Kanavi just going for these buffs and playing so aggressive with Ashe rotating as well.
Both junglers having the smites available. Kanavi with the Q smite will take that blue buff away. Wait, continuously forced out here as he won't be able to go for his wolves either with the pressure that Kanavi is throwing out. Cocoon goes wide. The volatile Spiderling still chipping away at Wei's health bar. Angel in the meantime having a hard time in the 1v1. There's presence in the bottom side from JDG as well with the Caitlyn and Ashe. It feels like Wei has no support for what's happening to him in the jungle.
Yeah, 2 lanes of the side of JDG being constantly pushed in. Wei having his camps being taken away just means he has to look for a fight here.
Knight might have been baited in though. This is in a 2v1. Stun should come out. Wait,
no
it's just
mana?
gonna go down. Knight just 2v1s them. What is this guy eating for breakfast? I need some ASAP. Kanavi chasing on through into the jungle. Angel low on HP. Hand splash available. The spiders. It's getting chased on through a web of lies untangled. And JDG 2-0.
Knight, when you try and gank him, well, don't call an ambulance for Knight. Call one for yourself. He just gets the 1-for-1 trade. Oh, he doesn't even die. He gets a 2-for-0 trade onto this Jayce. He didn't even have mana to realistically get that kill, but just the amount of damage he put out before Knight, Wei was able to flash onto him and just finish him off with the last order. And of course, Kanavi comes over and cleans up this kill with his flash available as well. Very well played for Knight. And of course, he is in that winning matchup where he was able to chuck out so much damage onto Angel prior, and it just became such a good lead.
Gala flashes forward and just gets eradicated. Ming flashing as well. The volley slows him. Missing wants the kill, wants the supportal combat. One more volley would do the trick. I don't know what the cooldown is at this point. The sweeper finds him. And Missing gets his opposite man.
Gala felt very confident about that kill. He flashes in, but unfortunately, he didn't have enough damage. I think Angel might die here as well.
At least they get one for Wei. Angel, he needed to have a good game today. He needed to make a statement coming into the LPL, but 0-2-0 now. He's got a grin on his face, though. Spirits seem high within RNG, despite how this game is going so far. But it's almost a 3,000 gold lead, and Knight 2-0-1 taking a plate in the mid lane. I mean, I don't think it could be going much worse if RNG tried.
6 kills at 5 minutes, and 2 of them going towards Knight when he's already in that winning matchup in mid lane. Kanavi's just gonna consistently help him in this mid lane, and Rula somehow managed to even get a kill onto Gala. The flash?
Oh my goodness, Rula just breaking Gala's ankles. I mean, procs the tempo, just outplays it. Beautiful 90 caliber net there, while playing in the minion wave as well. I was sure that he couldn't win that one. His Angel now starting to fire tonight as well. Wei moving in, Ming moving in. Knight still has his flash available, and will be able to get away over the wall.
JDG is just giving them no chances to slip back into the game. Gala desperately trying to get his wave pushed in, but Rula just styles on him with the flash as well and says, you're not pushing your wave in and you're gonna die for it.
This is just, it's not often that you see this level of smurfing in professional play of what JDG are bringing to the LPL this year. It's actually insane.
Yeah, I mean, Missing wasn't even there to begin with. I'm assuming they got forced out from just a pure poke of RNG's composition. This was the first time where Gala died, and he was just way too confident with his damage. And this is going to be the second kill where Knight was able to find onto Angel. Once again, trying to push in that wave. He hits 6, and Angel just takes a cue to the face. Kanavi comes over and just picks up this kill as well. Angel is just getting camped in this mid lane.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what you could do at that point. It was so well played by Knight to force Angel that way right into the loving arms of Kanavi. Breathe. Losing out in CS in the top side, but trying to bait 369 down. Wei in the Herald pit. 369 not going to fall for it. Really wants to crash that wave. Won't be able to. Sees Wei on the ward, and instead we'll just walk over to Wei, try and give him a hit, try and get some presence, do something while he can't walk up to the wave.
You already feel that desperation coming out of Gala, especially with his 2 attempts of getting that kill onto Rula, but both times Rula just outplaying him from pure mechanics. And I just feel like the more you burger flip, it's just you're getting to that state where you're not going to be able to come back into the game, especially as a Varus into Caitlyn, where they have the Elise to abuse this lead.
Yeah, that lethality Varus as well, where when you're ahead, it feels incredibly strong, but when you start falling behind, it does feel a little bit useless. The fact that both the mid lane and the bottom lane being the same story, it's a really tough start for RNG. And also, it's the fact that that lead has extended to the jungle as well. The Kanavi's been able to use those winning lanes to such great effect. And now you can anticipate that the Ashe and the Caitlyn will start to really pressure in this bottom side and look towards getting some plates as Kanavi grabs himself a Herald.
Ashe does have the ultimate available now, so they can just pull the trigger whenever. Gala does have that cleanse available, but if they decide to just go for Ming, he is dead.
Oh, the arrow lands onto Angel. Kanavi's there with a cocoon. And Angel wiped off of the map once again. Not a single smidgen of emotion on Wei's face there on the camera. He's accepted the way that this game is going at this point. Kanavi pressuring in the jungle, looking for more, takes away the Gromp. Look at the CS lead that Kanavi has. This is unplayable for Wei.
Yeah, it is unplayable. You have 2 winning lanes from JDG, which I think JDG always has winning lanes. So Kanavi just has so much freedom to invade whenever he likes. And especially with Angel just being 0-3 as the Akali, you're not going to get any reassurance from the teammates. And you're just going to fall into 2v2 just like this.
This is just brutal. This is absolute brutality from the side of JDG. And one of my questions for JDG coming into today was, you know, how does Kanavi look when he doesn't have 3 winning lanes? How does this team look when they don't just body the laning phase? That question won't be answered today because they are just dominating the laning phase once again.
once the time comes, I don't know when, but JDG is going to show you that, but today's not the day because all 3 lanes are winning once again, especially with this Ashe ult hitting.
It's just insane. Breathe using the all out to try and find an advantage, but flashed on by 369. And will actually get away with his life. The flash keeping him safe as 369 already used both the slicer and the dice.
Like you said, Munchables, JDG has some of the fastest games we have in the LPL. Already 8 kills in their pockets in a 10-minute game. Jayce having 4 of them. And he already took down the mid lane tower, and all those plates went into the pocket of Jayce, where he has 2 items completed compared to Angel, who doesn't have anything. And just the pure poke that Jayce and Caitlyn is going to offer into these team fights, these major objectives are looking so hard for RNG to slip back in. Wei has to look for a pick before the game bleeds out of control.
Yeah, I mean, I worry that the game has bled out of control because it's a 7,000 gold lead at 11 minutes. Like, oh no, the arrow comes down from missing. At least he had the cleanse, keeps himself alive as Knight is 2v1ing in the bottom side here. They've sent Ruler to the mid lane to grab plates for himself. And I mean, there's absolutely nothing Angel can do about that in the mid lane. He's trying to move down to this bottom side of the map to influence the map in some way alongside Wei. Maybe they can find a 2v4 here. Wait, over the wall, Kanavi sees it on the ward. Angel trying to get into the play as well. Ming looking for the stun, but Knight flashes away from it, and now here comes Kanavi. It's 3v4, but I think JDG like their odds in this one. Wei flashes into it! The volley onto 3, and now the follow-up. And Root comes out, though, and it's a 1-for-1 so far. Gala low on HP as Ruler on the backside of the play. He's committed suicide, and Angel grabs the kill.
Look, Angel got the kill onto Ruler. They pick up a 2-for-1 trade. This is the angle that RNG finds his way back into the game. Unfortunately, Wei just flashed into the Caitlyn ultimate. I'm assuming to escape, but he just he blocked it for Gala and he fell as a result of that.
It's not a pretty sight when your mid laner is the same level as the enemy jungler. Knight just walks under the tower, just has his way with Ming. I mean, this is something else. At least RNG get a couple of picks in the previous play, but the gold lead's still snowballing in JDG's favor. Yeah,
look, we're gonna have to mind control Ruler to flank maybe 5 more times onto that Caitlyn and let Angel pick up every single kill, and I think RNG's back into the game. This flash was just so unfortunate for Wei. He tried to escape from the damage of Kanavi, but he flashes into the Caitlyn ult, and Caitlyn in the back ease over the wall and tries to get a flank going on here, but luckily Angel was here to get onto him, and he gave over the bounty.
Ruler thought his Q would hit on Gala as well. It would have been a kill had it hit. I wonder if Wei basically had accepted he was going to die in the play no matter what and flash to save Gala. Because it's pretty 5-head if you look at it from that perspective. I don't know if that's true though. As the CC chain lands on tonight, it's a huge pickup. Ming grabbing himself that gold as 369 to breathe. 1v1 in the top side. Dominus versus all out. Who's got more damage? The knockup comes back up through with 369 to sustain! And he finds the 1v1.
The grasp was not enough for Breathe to win that 1v1. There's just action going on everywhere. But I like how RNG is taking their chances and trying to get back into the game. You are no longer going to win those 5v5s from just the pure advantage that Knight has in these team fights. And they noticed that Knight didn't have flash from a previous catch, so they just forced onto this pick. And of course, 369 winning the 1v1, although very, very close. Breathe just wasn't able to kill him in the very end.
Yeah, extremely close, but it's 369 who's rolling 9s today. And in the meantime, Ruler finishing that bottom lane tower off in the last 3 seconds of plates. Not the greatest Ashe ultimate we've ever seen, but a fair punt as Knight was in the area. If it lands, that's a kill for Knight. Angel.
Something that is so concerning is that this Elise has more CS than Angel on Akali.
Oh no.
Oh no. Close your eyes, Munchables.
Oh, I've got one eye closed. I've got to keep one open because it's my job, but yeah, that is something else. Honestly, Angel not having a good time with the Akali. Kanavi having a great time on the Elise though as he starts this Herald off. Ming and Breathe over the wall. As it looks like RNG do want to contest for this. 369 at the bottom side of the map and has TP available.
RNG, come on, you gotta force that TP out of 369 and dance around it.
Gala, more than half of his HP from one shock blast. We're only 15 minutes into the game as Knight absolutely taking RNG apart, way forced out of the pit. Once again, Blast Cone is there, but I don't think this is worth it. It's only a Herald at the end of the day. It's not the Baron itself. Gala chunked again by another volley as Angel takes a massive hit from Knight. Here comes Kanavi, Cocoon wide.
Good dodge.
Means they have to back away.
Every objective is just going to Kanavi's hands. They have so much pressure into these Baron, and I'm not Baron pit, but just so much objective control with the vision, especially with Ashe and just having her zombie ward available as well. Rule are going to take over this tier 2 tower and just rotate to the top side where more murders are going to happen.
Oh, the Cocoon. Breathe tried to get the Q to pull someone in, but the Cocoon stops it in its tracks. Knight dodges away from the Sejuani ult, and now the CC turns back around. 369 over the wall of Knight, doing so much to the whole squad here, all out to protect the team, but it won't protect them. Health bar's low. Ruler, he's on the Caitlyn flank again. There's the Gale forced to get one, turns it into two as he dodges everything easily from Gala. This is a massacre.
The flashes coming out of JDG. Knight flash-eing in, Renekton flash-eing in, and having that gold drinker available where Rule is on the case and he was just able to pick up all the kills of RNG, all for none. I don't think RNG have been able to back into this game anymore. They missed the ultimate onto Knight, trying to protect this tier 1 tower for their life. I think you should just give this one up. You don't have any protection coming out of your teammates. And of course, Knight having so much damage. And look at this gold drinker that 369 uses. Oh my lord. And Caitlyn from the back, Gale forces in, has the flash available and just cleans everyone up.
I just love that early on today, or early on in this game, you said that RNG need about 5 more of those Caitlyn flanks to get back in the game. We actually see another Caitlyn flank, but this time much more successful than the previous. This is something else from JDG. And against a team, like, this is the RNG that won MSI. The only change is the mid lane, but it seems like changing Xiaohu out of this roster changed everything.
Yeah, I just feel like without this RNG Xiaohu, they just feel a little bit lost. These team fights, they're just not existent. And oh my god, I can't take my eyes off the damage from Knights. Half HP for Gala, another one and he's dead.
I know. And half HP on the tower as well as JDG continue to just build this presence around the map. I love that they could have took the inhib in the top side as well. They still had the Herald alive. There was no available contest from RNG. But deciding to leave that because they don't want to funnel those super minions into RNG. They don't want to give their enemy that gold when they're not sure if they can use that pressure for the time being. Drake coming up in 15 seconds and the whole squad from JDG are on the bottom side.
Angel's going for those wide flanks. Again, I've seen an Akali that did go for a wide flank in that first series. Didn't work out too well for that team. But can RNG pull it off with Angel in the backside this time around?
Doesn't have a lot in terms of items. Is 369 in the middle of everyone, and he's loving every second of it, just flailing around, and still survives. It's 1 for 0. And Angel off the back of the flank just finds Knight, who's more than happy to go toe-to-toe with this Akali. Doesn't have flash available, tries to find the shock blast instead, as Kanavi chasing down Repel onto the minions. The Cocoon lands!
Oh, hit!
But he doesn't go for the play.
You know, it doesn't matter if Angel dies or not. This map state is absolutely doomed for the side of RNG. Another tower goes into the hand of this Caitlyn, and this dragon is going to be absolutely free. We're going to see another Dragon Soul if it does get to that point where the game doesn't end before 24 minutes. But this Akali is just desperately trying to look for a flank where she is just constantly on vision, breathe, trying to make something happen, but he just gets one shot from the amount of damage that JDG has available from Knight and of course the ADC. But these team fights are just looking so hard for RNG, even in a 4-5, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, Angel, like you say, trying to get that flank, but not there anywhere near in time. And 369, I mean, like a duck to water, like an alligator to water, if you will. Just in the middle of everyone. Has the Gore Drinker, has the Dominus, has the Kudami. Able to just survive forever and do so much damage himself. And now, Baron is going to spawn onto the map, and with this absurd lead, we're 20 minutes in, and it's a 14,000 gold lead for JDG. I mean, if they just go for the Baron, surely they can just take it. Surely there's no contest available for RNG.
Yeah, we saw a little bit of a replay where missing hit and Ashe ultimate onto Gala. Had to force the cleanse instantly, although there was no threat from the side of JDG, who was just so scared. But Gala, without this cleanse, he's going to be in danger.
Oh, here comes a Kanavi, potentially. They don't quite have the damage to finish him off, and Knight just one-shots Ming in the meantime. Knight forced out of the play, Ruler alongside him. Breed's gone too deep, but at least he goes 1 for 1. Ming, low on HP, but surviving. And a 1 for 1, honestly, RNG will take that any day of the week. 369 trying to chase Angel down through the jungle. The rest of JDG could start moving over. I'm not sure Angel can escape this one. The Shroud will certainly help for the time being. He's spotted. Missing gets the slow. There's the autos to keep that slow going. The perfect execution out of the play. But in the meantime, another inhib tower goes down.
JDG having the perfect game on RNG. No towers, no dragons, no heralds. And they are just slowly suffocating with this mid jungle not being able to rise up in that early game. I just don't see how this Akali, even if she does go on a flank, is going to stop the carries of JDG.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that you've got multiple 3-item carries on JDG is just absurd. We're 21 minutes into the game. Like, having one carry on 3 items at 20 minutes is pretty insane. Never mind having your mid and your bottom lane. I mean, Knight's almost on 4 items. This is just something else. It's absolutely something else. Baron on the map. Dragon Soul available in 2.5 minutes if JDG can get control of that pit once again. And just so little respect given to RNG in these lanes, in this jungle. Like, JDG know that this is their map.
I mean, even Missing can just walk straight up. He has that QSS available. No one on JDG is scared to just walk in blind into RNG. That's just how much pressure they have as a team. But they do have a little bit of vision of Ashe.
Shock Blast available. If it hits Gala, it's half of his HP. Okay, just annihilates the caster minions instead. Here we go. Ashe arrow goes through. Dodged though. RNG managing to avoid it. 369 their target. As the Chain of Corruption comes in onto Kanavi as well. But RNG, that's all of their cooldowns. That's their ultimates used. And they don't find their pick.
Angel is just constantly hovering on this Akali, but I think he's just too scared to ever pull the trigger. But remember, Dragon is spawning in 1.5 minutes. You have to try to do something because your team is slowly bleeding, and I know that you're already 1-4, but 1-5 isn't going to make the difference.
Knight just, I mean, the fact that he does that much damage to Wei on the enemy team, this is a lethality character up against armor, and he still does that much damage. It's pretty disgusting what Knight's able to bring to the table here. Alongside Missing, trying to play to bait, trying to get these volleys down. Ace in the hole down onto Ming as well.
Oh
Breed
my
on
God.
the front line, tanking up for the time being, but 369 can happily walk on forwards, and the poke is just absurd. 369 gets one as the front line torn to sunder as well on the backside. Angel trying to get into the play as Kanavi just finishes the Baron off during the team fight. Gala alone uses the cleanse onto the stun from 369, but Slice and Dice will be back in just a second. Gala trying to survive, uses his ultimate as Ruler, almost finishes the job.
17k gold lead at 23 minutes. This gold lead is going to become the minutes that we have in this game, Strolly 23, very soon. I'm sure that the HUD was broken because I didn't see Caitlyn doing any damage, but even if the Caitlyn wasn't in that fight, I just feel like JDG has so much damage where 369 is just being an absolute menace in that front line. But of course, one Caitlyn ultimate just means one of the RNG members is completely out of the fight. And whenever this Renekton has that flash available, you are just instantly dead as Ming. And of course, Angel tries his best to look for at least one kill on tonight, which he does get a return. But it's just not enough to come back into the game.
I mean, the thing is, Ruler and Kanavi are on the Baron the whole time. That's 3v4, and it's a very one-sided fight in favor of JDG. Now, over to the Dragon Soul as well. They've got the mid-supers already pushing. Knight moving up to that top side so he can pressure on the off lane. Has his TP available. 24 minutes on the clock. And JDG almost a kill a minute at this point as well.
Yeah, they can't even leave their own base. Dragon Soul goes to JDG, Baron Soul in hand as well. Wei looking so extremely weak compared to this Elise. I just don't see how they're gonna win a 5v5.
Needs to get to the gym ASAP. Angel forced away, Wei forced away. The last in-hit tower to fall. Is Knight pressuring in the mid lane at the same time. This will be a second inhib. The third one is open if they want it, but they're not even going for two inhibs. They just want to end the game. JDG putting their foot down on the throat of RNG. As Bree jumps into the back line.
Angel?
Here's Angel to flank as well. Can they do anything? Ruler on the backside, but the rest of the team not even protecting him. They know how far ahead he is. Gala on the fountain as Kanavi just wailing away. 369 stood still, tanking, knows that he can't die as Knight jumps in to get a bonus kill at the end. That's game, set, match for JDG.
Knight gets a sneaky little cheeky smile at the very end of that kill cam, but of course, this is the outcome we assumed from a JDG versus RNG matchup. This is the super team of LPL, and they're gonna do wonders at our MSI competition. Of course, Knight 369. Also with Ruler on the side, they are just so consistent in terms of getting those early leads where they don't give the enemy a chance to come back with that, I guess, kill angle.
Yeah, I agree completely. And the thing is, it feels too early to talk about MSI ordinarily, right? But with this team specifically, them not making MSI would be a massive upset already. The fact that that's a statement I can confidently make in week 4 of spring says everything you need to know about the performance of this team so far. But still some other big names in the league that could contest them. LNG, certainly a name that springs to mind immediately. They've been looking phenomenal. IG are 4-1 as well, but you've got teams like Top Esports, Weibo, really